Idol Kim, and together we're going to do justice to what is in the plate for you. 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. Also streaming live on the Planet Radio 101 FM page. Go there, drop the comment, and we are going to take them in the course of the show. And yes, there's a post published on the Planet's 101 FM sports page. Drop your comments on that page, and we are going to take all of them in the course of the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again. Today, and it's been a beautiful story so far. Well, UT, take us through the results from the games played so far.
Well, earlier today we saw a game at Eket Township Stadium where Okobo played against Eket. The Wickets got the better of Okobo by 1-0. Away from that, at Eket Township Stadium, Ikono defeated Abak by 1-0 as well. We're still expecting games much later today. Ukanafon against Sienudum by 4 p.m. Nigerian time, while Uruafong will entertain Ona. The game have already started, so of course we're getting reports right as well.
All right. So, well, of course, we'll at the Uyo Township Stadium, today is rest day for the teams playing at the Uyo Township Stadium. So, respecting the order, Senatorial District to give us results and the games as they go in. All right, so well, it's confirmed. Come out and cheer your darlings Ibuakwa United to victory on Sunday, and come with money to get your ticket. 500 naira for the regular stand and 1,000 naira for the VIP stand. And you can start getting your tickets at the match venue from 12 noon on Sunday, the 8th of October, 2023. All right, so well, Blyden, this is not supposed to be a talking point. It's something we need to get, to normalize getting tickets. It was at some point tried last season. Well, the states in the magnanimity, the club in the magnanimity decided to throw it open at some point for the football fans. But if we want to get professional, one way we need to do that is to make money, develop, and of course, funds for, say I was talking about Ibuakwa United, and the selling tickets is one of those things that would fetch the club funds and not make them wholly and solely rely on the state government.
Well, first of all, Mari, I have to come from a crop's point of view. I also come from client's point of view.
Fans' perspective.
Fans' point of view,
right. Because
it's quite concerning. I think when you look at football, you realize football has a tandem with what's happening in the global setup, the very setup of that country. At the moment, the economic standing of the country. So it's quite difficult, especially at this time where many people are looking for food to eat and they manage to pay that way. Transportation is quite expensive. So for us to have a holistic view and improvement in football, everything has to work in tandem. Make the economic life of the people better, and trust me, people will pay for tickets no matter the amount of money, as long as they can afford it. But for now, on the other hand, we have to also create the culture of paying for the things we want to get. And football brings lots of excitement. How dare you go get such excitement without paying for it? That's the ideal thing to do.
All right, so well, Sunday's the day, 8th of October 2023, 4 p.m. the time for the game. But from 12 noon, you can start getting your ticket to see the game. And of course, we're looking at sports in Lagos, a very stubborn side. They've showed out already in match day 1 on Monday, where they defeated Gombe United by 2 goals. And also the game promises to be very exciting. Come on. Let's talk Nigerians, Blyden. Super Eagles striker Kelechi Iheanacho and his compatriot Wilfred Ndidi are contributing in no small measure to the return of Leicester City to the Premier League. Well, Ndidi assisted Kelechi Iheanacho, whose goal helped Leicester defeat Preston North End 3-0 in the Championship last night. Iheanacho has now scored in back-to-back league games and has taken his tally to 3 goals in 10 appearances so far in the championship. Well, the win took Leicester on 27 points, 2 points clear of second place Ipswich Town in the league table. They've won 4, they've lost 1 of their last 5 games in all competitions. Well, we know that both Ndidi and Leicester and Henacho rather were called up for the Super Eagles doubleheader friendly against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique. But UT, the key talking point is Wilfred Ndidi. Almost all his life, he's played as a defensive midfielder, at Belgium in Genk before signing for, Leicester City. He's played almost every single game as a defensive midfielder, maybe as a defender, in makeshift positions particularly. But Enzo Maresca, the new coach of Leicester, came in and decided Ndidi has to move forward, give him a lot more advanced roles. And of course, there were concerns about adaptability. You look at Ndidi as a player, wasn't the best passer off the ball. And if you want to be, in an advanced role as a midfielder, you have to at least know how to pass the ball, particularly. But the man has entered that role and has done it almost perfectly and seamlessly. He's had 3 goals and 3 assists in the season so far for Leicester City in all competitions. Talk to us about how brilliant this man has been in that position.
I think, first of all, I have to give credence to Enzo Maresca for also, trusting that the man Wilfred Ndidi can actually, play an advanced role in that Leicester City team. And for Wilfred Ndidi is also, of course, get my accolades as well, because advancing to a role that you're not used to is quite very difficult to adapt to that particular role, and we've seen him do that quite well moving forward. I think it adds extra edge to Wilfred Ndidi. There is nothing bad in being versatile, in as much as you're quite professional in that particular versatility. I think Wilfred Ndidi brings that commanding figure as well. Drafting into the national team, it can also add extra edge in terms of creating chances for the final third player. So I think for me, Wilfred Ndidi is settling well in that advanced role, and he can actually do that if he's drafted into the national team. So moving forward, he's done quite well. Professionally, he's also being versatile, and that should be an added advantage for Wilfred Ndidi.
Blyden bringing it to the national team. Now, would you want Pesero to try out Ndidi in his newfound role, or just keep him where he has been doing for you?
Not at all. I think he'll still be a defensive midfielder for me. But I think he'll become a better defensive midfielder, because before now, when I looked at Casemiro, I said the difference between Wilfred Ndidi and Casemiro is those passing ranges that he's got. And it makes sense for a Casemiro point of view. But when you have to talk about tackle, Wilfred Ndidi is high up there against the very best in the world. And that's a conversation. So it makes him a better player moving forward. But from a Nigerian point of view, he'll stick with a defensive role. After all, we've got the likes of Alex Iwobi, who can play that position, and lots of other players, the likes of Onyedika coming in. I want to see what these new players can do, because in the long run, Ndidi will not be at the national team forever, but good development for him. If he add passing range to his game, that makes a lot of sense, especially when you're bagging in assists.
Yeah, big man showed a lot of classic quality. 1 goal and 2 assists in the championship, 2 goals and 1 assist in the EFL Cup so far. All right, well, it's a not too palatable story around Jordan, Nigeria's newest name at the national team level. Is a major doubt for the friendly games against Saudi Arabia and Mozambique. He is in the 25-man squad for the friendlies, but has been rolled out of Ghent's UEFA Europa League clash against Maccabi Tel Aviv on Thursday. He's 26, featured for the Buffalo's last league game over the weekend, where we think he sustained the injury. Well, let's talk about Samuel Chukwueze. Well, it's a story. Former Nigerian star Taribo West believes that Chukwueze would make a success of his career with AC Milan despite his rocky start to life at the San Siro. Chukwueze joined the Italian Giants before the start of the season from Villarreal, but he has struggled to establish himself in the team. He's 24, has featured in all but one of Milan's 9 games this season, but he has started only twice and tallied just 245 minutes of action. His longest contribution in a game was 69 minutes in last month's 3-1 win against Cagliari. Prior to that, it was 61 minutes in the goalless draw against Newcastle in the Champions League. He has otherwise featured in less than 35 minutes. And of course, his shortest appearance has been 8 minutes against Lazio, and that was just last weekend. And, well, Blyden, there's been concerns about this man's quality, and of course, why up until this moment he's yet to establish himself and, of course, stamp his feet at that AC Milan 11. We've seen other players coming. Noah Okafor already has 2 goals from to start for AC Milan. He also came in the same time Chukwueze came into. Well, at this point, one would ask, what exactly is hindering the man from getting into becoming a key man for AC Milan, Tiofa?
Well, I think he's already a key man for the side. He's been playing. Not every player gets to start games, and I think gradually he'll find his own opportunity. All he needs to do is create his star. Now, we know what Samuel Chukwueze can do, especially when it matters most. But you look at the setup, the way AC Milan are playing these days, quite concerning even in the Champions League, because they're not scoring goals at the Champions League.
Yeah, that's concerning. After all of the attackers aside.
Absolutely. It therefore means that they're playing more cagey games where they're playing basically and typical of AC Milan at the Champions League level. But I'm not too concerned about Samuel Chukwueze. I think he'll find his foot, just trying to adapt to a new club, basically that. Right. And the pace of the game is quite different in Italy. I really wish he gets to find his party quite early, but it will work out for him soon.
Now, UT, even before he joined, now, first of all, goals are part of the game. And with the kind of player Chukwueze is, the kind of position he's been deployed to play, he needs to add at least goals to his game. As a matter of fact, creativity, he's got it. Dribbling, he's got it. But adding goals to his game would give him an edge towards starting a lot more games. And before Villarreal, there were concerns about how often he scores goals. He did remarkably well last season where he won the best African player in the La Liga for Villarreal. Scored, I think, 13 goals or thereabouts. So we thought that he had added goals to his game and he was taking that quality to AC Milan, but so far so good. Is it a case of the man not given enough time or the lack of goal scoring?
It's a new terrain, basically, Mari, and it also acquires adaptability, which I think that's what Samuel Chukwueze is also trying to adapt to the system, and of course the traditional of Italian football. Last season, he actually improved on his goal tally. Hitting double figures before moving to AC Milan. And some were saying that was the only thing lacking in his game, which we actually saw last season, putting up a fine performance in terms of trying to score goals. So moving to AC Milan, it will be quite difficult to basically start off from where he stopped last season. So he has to adapt to the system as well. And then Blyden actually talked about the fact that they haven't really scored enough goals this season. And that also shows you the supplies from midfield, because you can't have these attackers doing the jobs alone. It has to be supplies. There have to be creativity from midfield, from the attacking players going forward, which I think they're also lacking. I watched the game against Tottenham Hotspurs. He had series of chances, but couldn't score. And that's another thing, that's another angle to the story. Against Newcastle, rather, in the UEFA Champions League. Yeah. He couldn't score.
Not Tottenham and not in the Champions League.
He had clear-cut chances to score those goals, which I think basically for me is quite struggling at this particular point in time. The numbers counts for attacking players basically. Yeah. However you're electrifying to a large extent, the numbers have to count for you, which is something he should actually improve on. So I think it's just a matter of time. It will actually come good for him.
Take this, Blyden. Where's the place of Stefano Pioli in Chukwueze's adaptation?
Trust. That's all. Trusting the player can do it. Putting the player in the position the player can do it. I know how difficult it could be for managers, especially when you have new players coming to the setup. It could be quite difficult because you're looking at who fits in first. First of all, you already have your very best and finest players being part of that mix. And some high-profile players also coming in, the likes of Christian Pulisic from Chelsea. So Samuel Chukwueze coming from Villarreal, not so high-profile, but a decent footballer, I must say. Right. The numbers last season did count it for him. But now here's the biggest problem for Chukwueze for me. It's not just about scoring goals. I think the biggest weakness of Chukwueze's football is not about how electric he is. Does he really have the assist? That's it. Because when you're a quick foot player, you're quite electric, you can move. The beauty of it is where you can drop the pass. It reminds me of Vinicius Jr. Either he gets to score, drops the pass, and it gets so well when they open it, it makes it very difficult for opponents to stop you. When you're dropping the pass, and when you're not dropping the pass, you're scoring those goals. So it could add up for him. I think he can score goals. At Villarreal, he scored lots of goals too. But the most important one for me, I want him to develop how to give assists more in his game. If he does that, he would simply be El Magnifico at AC Milan. He's got chance. How old is he? About 24 years
24,
of age.
yeah.
Has many years ahead of him moving forward. By the time he hit the 25 mark, more demand for him.
All right, so we wish the very best for the man, and we hope that he gets himself back on track and gets a hold of what's happening with him at AC Milan, starts to score goals, gets assists, and becomes a key figure for AC Milan, like we're seeing Victor Osimhen for Napoli. Atalanta, they want to look man. So, all right, well, let's look at the World Cup, Blyden 2030. The World Cup is going to be 100 years, and it's going to be a glamorous event, as we hear, that is going to be held in 6 different countries across 3 continents. FIFA confirmed yesterday. Spain, Portugal, and Morocco have been named as the co-host, with the opening 3 matches set to take place in Uruguay, Argentina, and of course Paraguay. The opening matches in South America are to mark the World Cup's centenary, as it will be 100 years since the inaugural tournament in Montevideo. The decision is set to be ratified at the FIFA Congress next year, and of course it's an interesting conversation. Well, UT, the first thing that caught my eye in the news, it's not the 6 countries, 3 continents conversation. The first thing that caught my eye was Morocco. They have consistently developed football in the country. They've made plans and they've executed these plans, and they are now deemed fit to host the world. Morocco, how beautiful have been the story.
Reward for good development, and that has been the story of Morocco. You look at the continent of Africa, basically, they have been one of
the top tier. Any African tournaments right now, they're seen as top.
Absolutely.
For host.
We saw it in the African tournament as well, being one of the best, host rather. And it makes a lot of sense, because when we're talking about developmental phase of the continent of Africa in terms of football, and these countries, basically, you look at Morocco at this particular point in time, staying at the top, and it makes for good reading, because it will also, give other, African countries the opportunity to also develop their football, knowing fully well that there are rewards for development if you develop it quite well. And that's the story for Morocco, becoming the second African nation to host the World Cup after South Africa did it some years back. It's quite entertaining. And at this particular point in time, I feel there is more to come from the continent of Africa if we have other countries also develop their game as well.
Now, Blyden, at this point, I envy the Moroccans, as a matter of fact, and in my wildest imaginations, I'd love Nigeria to be like Morocco. How far off are we?
Well, I think, first of all, while Morocco is part of that mix, is that location. That's it for me, first of all. And then
they're quite close to Spain and Portugal.
Absolutely. So it's part of the conversation. So if you're looking at a centenary of a World Cup, how to make it special across 3 continents, it makes sense drafting Africa into it. Morocco is so close to Spain, Spain close to Portugal, and those stages. But also, I think what caught my eye in all of this was Saudi Arabia, because at some point we're talking about Cristiano Ronaldo joining Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia hoping to host the World Cup 2030. It never happened because of politics and the intents that has to
they've
come.
announced
they are bidding for 2036.
Absolutely. So that's why the bidding for 2034, which makes sense. I think they might likely have it with the Oceania conversation we had in the morning. But basically what I need to look at it. But I love the fact that the first 3 games of the World Cup would be played in
Uruguay, Argentina, Paraguay.
I was actually looking for the continent, South America.
South America.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll play in South America. And it's beautiful. Here's why it's also beautiful. Because you go to Spain, 2 key stadiums would be magnificent in it. And 2 superstars could come to those stadiums to play. The new look, Santiago Bernabeu, and the Spotify
Camp
Nou. And it makes sense on the other hand. And I saw a picture.
Those superstars, how old would they be by 2030?
Well, that's a conversation. I saw a video.
We'll have emerging talents before then.
I saw a video of Cristiano Ronaldo, and the video says he's all without some patches on him, and he's going into a cool room, and he's saying, bye-bye, I'm going to 2030. I'm like, what do you mean, brother? Because we might just see Cristiano Ronaldo feature in Portugal for Portugal at Portugal. And we might just see Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi also feature in Argentina.
We should also look at the ages of these players, basically.
This is 2023, right?
Absolutely.
2030 is 7 years from now. Ronaldo is 38 right now.
Yeah.
In 7 years' time, he's going to be our own 45.
He's not playing. We should accept the sad reality. He won't play. He won't play.
I wouldn't want to give it up.
Definitely. You won't play. 45.
There's something about being iconic in football.
Now, come on. You won't play.
Well, now, Messi would be how old then? 42?
Yeah, 42, 43, yeah.
43, yeah.
That's an interesting...
Mary, don't be shocked in my
No,
I'm not envisaging that.
Let there be peace. But also, the 2030 World Cup is going to be a 48-team tournament. And, of course, it's a story. Like Bladen talked about, the first games will be played. The first game we played in Montevideo, Uruguay, the city which hosted the first World Cup in 1930, and is poised to stage the opening game with matches in Argentina and Paraguay to follow. The rest of the 48-team tournament will then move to North Africa, Morocco, and Europe, Spain, and Portugal. Now, the change in hemispheres means World Cup teams could find themselves playing in 2 different seasons at the same tournament, and that's also going to be a fascinating thing. I look forward to seeing the action, and of course, social will be at that World Cup.
You're almost social.
Yeah.
I'm there already.
Oh, like that. Like that. I am so sure now. Well, let's take goes in as we glide into Europe and talk about the UEFA Champions League. We saw magnificent games go down last night. And I don't know where to start, but I'm so happy for Newcastle. 20 years in the making. The last time they hosted a World Cup, not a World Cup match, a Champions League match. And yesterday, they made nonsense of PSG and their money. Defeated them in the best of fashions. Not a 1-0 win, not a 2-0 win. It was a 4-1 victory for the Magpies against PSG, and it's a story. St. James's Park in style as PSG were overpowered in a highly charged atmosphere and Tyneside. The French champions, including superstar Kylian Mbappe, found the atmosphere and intensity on and off the pitch just too much as Eddie Howe's side secured a richly deserved win in Newcastle's first home game in Europe's elite competition since a 2-0 defeat by Barca in March 2003. The goal scorers are as follows. For Newcastle, Miguel Almiron, Dan Burn, Sean Longstaff made it 3-0. Hernandez made it 3-1. And, of course, Fabian Schär wrapped things up for Newcastle in that comprehensive 4-1 victory. Well, UT, we'll talk about PSG, but by the wayside, you know, Newcastle were absolutely brilliant last night, right?
Very dominant, Murray. And it makes a lot of sense to see Newcastle back in the UEFA Champions League this season, so playing their first home game after a very long while. We talked about the inexperience of Newcastle United, the players in there, and even the gaffer. But we saw them coming up clutch yesterday, not being overwhelmed by the UEFA Champions League and the anthem that comes with it. But they did quite well. From the blast of the whistle, we saw the Newcastle players running left, right, center. They were the ones asking bulk of the questions, and it makes a lot of sense. Kylian Mbappe yesterday, he was silent all through the game, and it shows you the power and, of course, the quality of this Newcastle United side. They haven't really spent much, but you look at the quality of the side, you look at how they play as a unit, and, of course, you also look at how they attack as a unit basically as well. It shows you how clinical Newcastle can actually be going forward in this group stages. And I'm particularly concerned about Eddie Howe, because if you look at the crop of players he's actually managed so far, it looks like it would have been a job quite difficult for all the managers, but he has done it quite clinically, and lads are doing quite well moving forward.
Now, Blyden, 2 teams, belt and money, right? But one belt to fight. The other just signed stars.
Well, first of all, let me say this. I do not think Newcastle are actually better than Paris Saint-Germain in terms of the collection they've got. But yesterday was terrible. And here's why. I saw the game, first part, Newcastle were running, everybody running, working for each other. You saw Paris Saint-Germain. They were doing that slow build-up. And I blame Luis Enrique for it. He's come out to say this, that he takes full responsibility of the loss. And I think who better should take the full responsibility for it? It's him. You see the way Paris Saint-Germain play, and no wonder they're losing even in Ligue 1, because they're not playing quite well. They're passing the ball from the back, slow build-up. They want to build up till they get to the box. And when you have a machine like Kylian Mbappe, you can't give Kylian Mbappe the space to run. What are you basically doing? A total waste of speed, a total waste of antecedents. That's it for me. I watched them yesterday. They never played as if they were playing a Champions League game. It seemed as if they were just strolling in the park and hoping they could get a result, probably thinking it's a League One game, but it's not. And finally, good win for Newcastle United. Almiron showing class and dominance, scoring the opener in the 17th minute. The first goal for Newcastle in the Champions League since 2003 when Alan Shearer scored it, and something to look forward to. Now they're top of the group. And I want to go tied to where UT David also talked about. Eddie Howe, quite a decent coach, what he's done with the side. You look at December 2021, Newcastle, bottom of the table in the English Premier League. And now who would have thought now what he's done with the side, they'll be leading the pack in the UEFA Champions League group stages. Many would say it's just 2 games, but they've been absolutely phenomenal for me.
Yeah, definitely. It's a brilliant story, particularly for the side. Well, Blyden, still talking about PSG. Now, they've spent a lot of money, you know, and it looks like things are not just getting their way. Would they ever get return on this investment?
Well, remember when Luis Enrique was about to be signed to Chelsea, I said it wouldn't work, and went to Paris Saint-Germain. I said definitely it would get worse at Paris Saint-Germain, because football, it's all about formation and style, how you play it. You look at a collection of players, even the frontliners at Paris Saint-Germain, some of them are power players. I'm talking about Kolo Muani. We know how physical it could be when moving forward, but I watched yesterday was a shadow of himself, just trying to draft back, passing the ball, doing tic-tac football. Nonsense for me. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make, in the words of UT Davis, in the words of UT Davis, it doesn't make for good reading. Man loves to talk about good reading. But let's look at it this way now, Mario. You have explosive players, especially as attacker. I'm not even considering Dembele in this case. He's doing the bit he can. He's played with Barcelona. But here's it now. Release the players to play that football. Let Paris Saint-Germain play the counter-attack system. Let them run.
Yeah.
These players weren't running yesterday. They were trying within the spaces to pass the ball. You cannot get the best of an element like Kylian Mbappe and Kolo Muani playing that way. A total waste of these machines.
That's a story. You want to say something?
Well, I think the crop of players at PSG do not even see the manager's style. Take a look at them yesterday. They tried building from behind. Donnarumma, Marquinhos, and the likes of Milan Skriniar. Those are physical defenders and physical goalkeeper who just punched the ball outside from the 18-yard box back at AC Milan.
Right.
And you're trying to build from behind. It doesn't work that way. And that's why Newcastle kept getting them off the line, getting them whenever they make those mistakes, and their woes continues this season.
No matter how we want to say it, Newcastle deserve a lot of credit for what they've been able to do in this game, particularly, and in their lives in the last 2 years. Well, Atletico Madrid defeated Feyenoord 3-2. Morata scoring twice. Celtic losing to Lazio 2-1. Borussia Dortmund AC Milan playing a drop, goalless on expiring draw. Red Star Belgrade 2-2 against Young Boys. Well, Man City continue to show class and quality, respective of who starts, who plays, who's on the bench. They defeated Leipzig 3-1 yesterday. Foden, Alvarez, Jeremy Doku all scoring for the side. But then, 5 games in the Champions League so far, Blyden. Erling Haaland is yet to score. Should the panic button be pressed already?
No, not at all. I think the last few games were the last games he played during the finals, getting to the finals, which were quite difficult games. They didn't score, but Manchester City won. So it's counting as part of the stats. But early part of the season, first 2 games, he's not scored. The previous game hit the woodwork. I think he'll come around one way or the other. But the most important thing is the team is winning. But I know Erling, he might have a slow start. But the moment he starts scoring goals, he keeps banging it. That's Erling Haaland for him.
Erling Haaland, top name. But there's this young star, signed for £50 million. He's scored 6 goals so far, 5 assists in all competitions for City. Julian Alvarez, how brilliant is this man?
Absolutely dominant, Mari. It looks like we're beginning to see the usefulness of
Are you sure he's
Julian
not,
Alvarez.
He's not going to steal the shine from Haaland? Because, I mean, he's not even played as the point man.
Let me shock you, Mari. I think
shock me.
There have been difference between Julian Alvarez and the man Erling Braut Haaland. You know, Erling Braut Haaland basically depends on, how do I put it? The supplies of Kevin De Bruyne, the supplies of creative players. Julian Alvarez is one man. It's like Victor Osimhen, basically. He hustles for these balls and scores those goals. If you look at yesterday, the goal he scored, one of the goals he scored against RB Leipzig yesterday, there was absolutely no assist from anywhere. Tackled the ball, get it off his feet, and shot the ball inside the net. For Erling Braut Haaland, I think he will keep struggling, particularly this season. Only when Kevin De Bruyne is back. I saw him yesterday look quite helpless because there were no supplies from the build of the pack to the man moving forward. So for me, I think the man Julian Alvarez is a better forward than the man Erling Haaland.
Also, because we start talking about who's better, who's not better. Has the introduction of Alvarez in that City 11 taking the shine of Haaland?
No, I don't think so. We've seen in the league. Difference why we're having the conversation is that Erling hasn't scored in the Champions League. Right. But you look at the league side for Manchester City, he scored lots of goals. At some point, we're talking about it why he wasn't nominated, despite scoring 6 goals in the league for the Player of the Month. Yeah. I said he was playing in a different league. But away from that, let me just bring a little start in here, Mari. Around December 2021, Julian Alvarez agents came to Manchester. And guess what happened? There was a release clause of 17 million euros for him. And then he was playing for River Plate. And Manchester United decided it wasn't good for the system for them. And 3 weeks after, Manchester City went around. I paid the 17 million euros for him. And calm down, Mari.
United have missed out on a lot of stars, including myself.
Oh, Mary. Okay.
Rest.
I call it done then.
But those are not the only games that went down last night in the Champions League. We also saw Antwerp losing to Shakhtar the next 3 goals to 2. Barcelona had to dig in very, very deep to get the victory against FC Porto by just a goal to 0. Gavi got a red card at 2 points, but the South Korean Lewandowski coming off injured in that game. But Ferran Torres has had a fine time so far this season. I remember 2 seasons ago when the Barca board said Pep Guardiola sold the wrong Torres to them. But the man so far most times comes up from the bench and tries to score. He's had how many goals this season? Make that 4 goals in all competitions for the side, and bulk of these games has come from the bench.
Yeah, I think also Joao Felix, he had an assist in this one.
Yeah, Blyden, you talking about Joao Felix?
Yeah, I talk about good players when they play well. When they don't play well, I don't talk about.
I'm surprised.
I don't know if you guys watched the games yesterday. FC Porto were the better side all through the game.
Well, typically you expect that.
Who won?
I understand they won. I'm trying to look at the importance of Ferran Torres in the game because he came off the bench. I think in the 30-something minutes, he was just the difference of yesterday. But not for Ferran Torres, they would have drew the game.
But the man of the match went to AK Gundogan. Did you see Gundogan in that game?
Yeah, Gundogan was the man of the match.
Gundogan was everywhere in that game.
Absolutely.
Well, fascinating player, but here's the story for Barcelona. I think they're grinding out result at the moment. You look at it, they've played about 12 games this season, and still unbeaten they are in all competition. That's the story of Barcelona. But when you look at it, they're still leaking one way or the other, not so solid. I think along the line they're going to break
They're unbeaten?
Yeah.
Really?
They are. Barcelona have not been beaten yet.
In all competitions?
Yeah, they've not.
That's interesting.
But look at it, Mari. When we move on...
I thought we talked about the defensive frailties at some point.
Especially, but the one they were conceding and still winning.
Yeah,
the next game they played against Sevilla when we talked about it, they managed to win it. Sergio Ramos' own goal gave them the win. But the concern is they're grinding out result at this point. And it makes sense from that angle. But am I expecting Barcelona to go all the way in this Champions League? I do not think so.
All right, let's take calls in. Reactions to the UCL games last night: 09022231011 and 0817-624-8565. It's funny that the first caller is a Chelsea fan. Good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Maradona.
Welcome to Victor.
Good afternoon, guys, and you see David.
Go ahead.
Now, the quarter was income that day is also against Tottenham because of PL. Tanzania always prefer Tanzania go to play your game and win. So yesterday was the remarkable moment for some of the fans. So
right.
Newcastle go and beat PSG was something to look out for. And also, let me also wish Liverpool Manchester City in their game yesterday. That's my thing.
Thank you so much, Victor, for talking to us this particular afternoon. Well, let me tell you guys something. Now, yesterday, the Leipzig coach, Marco Rose, was asked about the World Cup being hosted in 6 countries. You know what he said? He said if FIFA discovers a football field in Mount Everest, that they will play there. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my people.
Welcome, Guardiola Jr.
Yeah, you know what I said, man. We don't like talk too much. Our action speaks for us.
Right.
Coming this Sunday, Arsenal will see nothing but make Arsenal to win Manchester City. It is impossible. But it is very possible to Man City to beat Arsenal. I told you that we are going to get it happens. And it's going to happen on Sunday.
Thank you.
Sorry for Manchester United and that. Sorry for them. Thank you.
Thank you very much for talking to us this afternoon, Guardiola Jr. Hello. Welcome to the show. Mr. Easy on the line. Mr. Easy on the line. Oh, my goodness. Hello. Welcome to the show. Top Gunner. Good afternoon. Go ahead, Top Gunner. Go ahead. All right, Top Gunner, your voice is breaking and we're just going to make sense of what you're trying to tell us. Please call us back. Thank you so much. Hello. Welcome.
Yeah, Blyden and yesterday with the 3 update on. I regard to you all.
Welcome to the show.
Side by side, Kylian Alvarez and Erling Haaland. Before God that man, Erling Haaland is dangerous than Kylian Alvarez. Just that he's not that good enough maybe to create ball for himself, ball play, and get a goal for himself without the helping of others. But when we come to goal scoring, he has it more than Kylian Alvarez. Just that he's unlucky to score these 2 days in Champions League. Let's witness what will happen in EPL this Sunday. Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you so much for talking to us. We'll look at the Europa League games tonight. Welcome. Top Gunner. We hope he's better this time.
Marin.
Yes, Top Gunner, go ahead.
What team were Antelope against Shakhtar Donetsk? I thought it was done and dusted. The Antelope were losing 2-0 after they succumbed to Shakhtar Donetsk. Two English teams to lose the semi-final. Then married for proper drug case, I learned that she's out positive. But then he was given another chance to
want to congratulate my team, Manchester City. Okay, just well done. Yesterday we had this. It's the team that you predict, and you see the good results coming out today.
All right, do you want to call us back, whoever? All right, so it's going to be another night of European football, but the second-tier league, as we're going to see the Europa League and the Conference League to return to action tonight. We'll look at the games after this call. Hello. Yeah, welcome. Name and location. Go ahead.
I want to congratulate Manchester City for their win yesterday. So, and concerning Alvarez and Erling Haaland is on turn and fast now to shine. So, he should use that for other people to shine also.
I see.
So, that's how I see it, yeah.
Thank you very much. It's now a turn-by-turn thing. Well, the Europa League returns tonight. Barca to Poland against Olympiacos. Freiburg taking West Ham United. Athens taking Ajax. Marseille taking Brighton. Aris Limassol taking Rangers. Real Betis against Sparta Prague. Rako Częstochowa taking Stormgrass. Sporting Lisbon against Atalanta. Liverpool taking Union. And, of course, there's a reunion, by the way. The McAllister brothers. Kevin McAllister playing for Union and Alexis McAllister playing for Liverpool. Tolu taking LASK, Maccabi Haifa, Panathinaikos, Villarreal against Runs, Roma Servette, and of course we'll also see Slavia Prague, Sheriff Tiraspol, Haken, Karabakh, Modi taking Bayer Leverkusen. There are also games in the Conference League, and it's a really long list. These names are quite crazy. I'll try. Krasnodar take on Leon, Olimpia Ljubljana take on Slovan Bratislava, Red Blik take on Zoha Luhansk, Gent take on Maccabi Tel Aviv. It's goalless so far. 30 minutes Astana against Victoria Plzen, Balkari take on Dynamo Zagreb, Besiktas against Lugano, Bodo Glimt against Club Brugge, Aston Villa take on Zrinski Mostar, Akbar take on Lega Warsaw, Fiorentina against Ferencvarosi, FK Kurakiki take on Genk, Aberdeen take on Helsinki HJK, POAK Thessaloniki take on, Eintracht Frankfurt, Nordsjælland against Ludogorets, Razgrad, Spartak Trnava take on Fenerbahce. The games expected in the Conference League. UT will take us to Facebook right now. And, of course, I will track comments from there and see what's happening. Well, the English national team have dropped results. Not results, actually, the players set to participate in the Italy and Australia friendly games set to come up in October. And, of course, Watkins has returned to the national team since March 2022. Raheem Sterling is out for the fourth successive time. All right. And, let's look at the full list. Sam Johnstone, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale, the goalkeepers. The defenders are Levi Colwill of Chelsea, Lewis Dunk, Mark Gahey, Harry Maguire, John Stones, Fikayo Tomori, Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, Trent Alexander-Arnold. For the midfielders, Jude Bellingham, Conor Gallagher, Jordan Henderson, Calvin Phillips, and Declan Rice. For the forwards, Jarrod Bowen, Theo Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Edward Nketiah, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, Oli Watkins called for this game. Now, Blyden, there's no James Ward-Prowse.
I was going there, man.
Are you concerned?
Yeah,
Surprised?
Slightly worrisome because he should be there. He's been pretty decent.
How many goals? Like six goal contributions this season.
Is of the side.
Yeah,
and,
we'll have to check that.
quite disappointing, especially when he was at Southampton. It was understandable a bit, despite scoring those free kicks. But now you expect that kind of player to be part of that mix. He can't score from the sport.
Involved in 8 goals in 8 games of West Ham this season.
And that's something to look
Incredibly
forward to.
very harsh.
Quite
to
sad
not
he's
qualify.
not playing, and you begin to ask why Harry is there if he's not playing. And for Raheem Sterling, I can understand why he's not part of the team. Chelsea aren't doing quite well, and the last few games he's not really turned up to the party for them. But I think he should be given a notch also. If you're giving Harry Maguire a notch, you should give Raheem Sterling a notch. Maybe just share them. Players who are out of form, you give this one opportunity, try to pick form, and next time you give another. That's the way I see it for me. But if you consistently put Harry Maguire in that team, then Raheem Sterling should also...
UT Harrison makes the list how?
The English national team, it beats my imagination why players are not earning call-ups via merit, because I don't understand what Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips is doing in that team at the expense of James Ward-Prowse, who has been quite decent this season.
I think merit, the term merit is relative. What's merit to me might not be merit to you.
Absolutely.
And of course, the coach of the side has his definition of merit.
No, beyond that, Mari, I think also from a football point of view, I've always talked about international football. International football shouldn't be a use and dump ground for me, especially when players have sacrificed over time because they have a little deeper form. You say, okay, I'm probably... The other part of it is this. The very fact that a player is sitting on the bench doesn't mean a player is not good enough. That's always been my conversation. So for you, as a national team coach, you look at the quality of the player. If he gets to be part of my team, how does he play at international games? If he's playing well, then I keep calling him to the national team.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the likes of Nwankwo Kanu at the time. She was sitting on the bench at Arsenal, but when he dons the white green, you know that you are in for it.
It's a different
That's the
ballgame.
conversation for me, but I think it should be shared across. If you're giving everybody a player who's out of form opportunity, give even further players who's also out of form. Raheem Sterling had been one of the most phenomenal players for English national team in recent years. I think he should be given a notch.
All right, UT comments from the sports page. Do we have them?
Okay, Stanley says, good afternoon, sports crew. Please let them always give Chelsea free ticket to represent England for European competition, even without qualification. And for Mbappe, since he became PSG president, nothing changed. The time they needed him to change
president.
something. But it was nowhere to be found. I remain standing number 9 from Ekbenokam, Uran Planet. Thank you very much. Fortune Basi says, good afternoon, sports crew. Happy for Newcastle and Econo for their wins. Please, how about is Saka's injury? I want him available for the game against City. Fortune Basi from Econo. Classic Boy says, good afternoon, sports crew. Newcastle United really shocked the whole world by sending PSG where they belong. King Murray says, good afternoon. Football talkative. I wouldn't know. Let Mbappe collect what he deserves. Messi provided almost all the assists to the goals he scored for 2 years, but he never valued it. Let Mbappe play with Dembele. Messi deprived himself goals to make sure Mbappe score. Now see come on Newcastle United. Ndiana Akpan says, good afternoon, sports crew. Marizona, please pray for United. I rest my case. Up Chelsea, down United. Thank you for having me. Xavier Chibong says, good afternoon, sports crew. I want to firstly congratulate my beloved local government area and Sedatai for their impressive performance in the ongoing Governors' Cup tournament. As for my lovely Arsenal team, I'm wishing them the very best against Manchester City on Sunday. The Prime Boss says, good afternoon, sports crew. I'm Aniete Ambrose from Itu. I'm happy for the team victory against RB Leipzig, and for PSG, they will be out of that Champions League group stage. Moses John finally for now says, good afternoon, sports crew. After lots of frustration from English Premier League officials at the weekend, we are looking forward to beat our next opponent in the UEFA Europa League competition as we remain Moses John, simply known as Mr. Liverpool. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Welcome back to the show. Football fan.
Hello, Marizana. Yeah, good afternoon, Marizana.
Melody.
Yeah, you too. This is Melody coming from you.
Right.
Yeah, I'm talking concerning the England squad. I don't know what Gary Saudi is thinking. How can you call back John Stones? Just call in John Stones, who is just returning from injury and hasn't even played.
and you are calling him, you want to go and get another, whether you guys want him to get another injury. And then certain Nick Pope of Newcastle, he didn't call Nick Pope. There's what Prowse, he didn't call. Anthony Gordon of Newcastle, he didn't call. These are the players that are making Newcastle pick. And he didn't call them. Then he's still calling Harry Maguire, the bench woman. One down. Well, congratulations to my team, Man City, and to Newcastle for doing the unthinkable.
Thank you.
I didn't expect Newcastle to do what they did. Thank you.
Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. One more calls coming in 0902223 1011 and 0817 624 8565. Hello, good afternoon. Yes, success, welcome.
Alpha.
I didn't get that.
I think with the Calzado and Modric injury, how is he going?
Youth is going to check that for you.
There's something I drop in your account.
In my account? In my account? My account? No, it's not my account.
Do you have the details?
My account. My account. Don't joke that joke now. Success. That is a very expensive joke to joke right now.
Probably trying to say Facebook.
I don't know. Hello, welcome to the show.
Okay, hello.
Yes, good afternoon.
Is Nick Pope from England?
Yes, now.
Then why is he not called up?
You didn't even tell me your name.
Michael Ocon is the name from Indianigo.
Welcome, Michael. Now we can talk.
Okay, I think England coach should have called Nick Pope.
All right.
And those players there. Those goalkeepers there.
Thank you very much. Well, but also, Blyden, it's a friendly game, and the English national team is blessed with talent across, different football clubs, and you have to give at some point everybody a chance. Maybe this is just a players that these are the players that he wants to give a chance at this window. Maybe the next window might see some changes to the team. Maybe.
Well, you have to give everybody a chance and drop one player who you should give that chance. What price for me? I think that's the player's missing. You had to.
How about this Nick Pope conversation?
It's absolutely the best.
Aaron Ramsey has been on the bench for the past 7 games, so how's scored?
The thing about it, Aaron Ramsey has had 3 caps for England, and when you compare the performance with Nick Pope, you understand Nick Pope has been around.
Nick Pope has had 10 caps.
Absolutely. So he's solidified that position for a while. I've watched Aaron Ramsey with the English shirt. So I know the concern within it. But moving forward, they'll get to develop and be a solid goalkeeper. I'm only worried for Jordan Henderson flying all the way to be part of this team. It doesn't make sense to me instead of the likes of Ward-Prowse.
Let the man breathe. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Good afternoon, Bright. I'm in Mari. It's Director now.
Where have you been now? I don't find you tired. After Bayelsa defeated Akwa, I find you, I don't see you. Where you did now?
I do my radio issues.
Sorry. We're good. How your side?
Thank God for my team yesterday. No Arsenal. I thought they would win those children. Whether my lens, glass can't win them from nowhere. Then come to Mayu. One of the Mayu fans see me yesterday, and he said, okay, they say yesterday, I said they have won the match. I said, one waiting. I went and checked. It was 3-2. So the Champions League is becoming something else. Especially Arsenal is confusing.
All right.
Thank God for Man City. I don't know what is happening to my namesake. I don't they catch on because all the goals now are coming from midfielders and the rest. I don't know.
All right, thank you so much.
Have a nice day.
Have a nice day too. Thank you so much. Well, look away, Liverpool fans. We hear that the Premier League is not considering replaying the Tottenham-Liverpool match. So, rest. And of course, let's talk about Lionel Messi, UT. Inter Miami lost again yesterday, 4-1 to Chicago Fire. Now, Lionel Messi has missed a couple of games for them, and they've gone back to the fourth set. There's no win in the last 3 games.
It looks like Lionel Messi goes along with the mojo, or even with the key to these players, basically, because if you look at the matches he's not played this season for them, they have been losing, and it looks like Lionel Messi is the catalyst of the side.
Well, I'll just add to it. I think Lionel Messi got injured when it was critical. And the other parts were cup matches that we're playing then, and now they're playing the proper league game, and he's not part of it, he's injured. I would have loved to see what the team would be in the proper league games when Lionel Messi is featuring for them against the top side, if it's still that weak league that we talked about.
All right. Let's take a few calls in before we bounce this out to them. Even the Inter Miami fans raised placards yesterday saying...
we heard there were some returns in terms of form.
They said we all got robbed. We want our money back. You want Messi to play every year? It's not possible. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Hello, Mary.
Okay.
Mary, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Okay.
Thank you. I don't know why you don't normally recognize the buyer. The buyer is a liar. So nobody can use the buyer anyhow. Let me tell you one thing. The buyer is more valued than any player in Mali. And I love that boy. People want to kill his career, but they can never do it. Let him stay there and perform and trust everything, put his devil out. The buyer is a player. If you recommend to go. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Oki, for talking to us. Your thoughts really appreciated. Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to the show. Ms. Stacey on the line.
Let me quickly talk about tonight's Europa League encounter with the Belgium side. I wish Joachim Löw should not come this very one. I like to see the first team player lining up against the Belgium side. So we are up to grab another 3 points, make it 6 out of 2.
Right.
So Liverpool all the way. That's my bet. Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Now, did you guys know that Julian Timber has a twin brother? Looks exactly like him. His name is Quinton Timber, and Arsenal want to sign him.
Interesting.
All right. That's it for the show, guys. Yeah. Happy World Teachers Day.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to the teachers. They deserve everything and more. I wish I could call names, but it's going to be a very long list.
It's a long name, basically.
Thank you to everybody who has, in one way or the other, taught us. My parents taught me, so happy Teachers Day to my parents.
Yeah, I think fascinating. Teachers are just basically wonderful, and football coaches are part of it. Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy Teachers Day to Eric Ten Hag.
I didn't see that coming.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's how we end the show this afternoon. Blended ended on a violent note. Have a lovely Thursday. My name is Marizona. Blended the King was here, and UT David Vinner Talks comes right now. Ciao.